Welcome to Baltimore Collegetown Network's Virtual Industry Day series. My name is Madison Boris, and I am the Special Events Manager for Collegetown. As an organization, it is our mission to attract, engage, and retain college students to the Baltimore region. The Industry Day series is designed to connect college students to local employers and industry professionals. Today's guest is an internationally recognized thought leader of social entrepreneurship, as well as the program director for the Masters of Health and Social Innovation at University of Maryland, Baltimore. He is an excellent resource, and I encourage you to engage and interact with him. His contact information will be made available after this video, as well as on the Collegetown website. And now I'm excited to start our conversation with Dr. Jim Kucher. Hi there, Jim, welcome.
Hi, Maddie, how you doing?
Doing well, hanging in. How about yourself?
One foot in front of the other is a good day these days, but we're doing pretty well, thanks. Everything's transitioning online fairly well, and life moves forward despite what else is happening.
It truly does. Well, thanks for being here. I queued you up a little bit with a brief bio, but I would appreciate if you can give our audience kind of a brief play-by-play of how you got to where you are.
Sure, happy to do that. Main theme is really that in one way, shape, or form, I've been an entrepreneur most of my life. I actually started my first business when I was an undergrad in college, doing lighting and sound for rock bands. I had hair, actually longer than yours. And then I moved into the financial services industry and worked in that space for a number of years, grew a local small business, and then ended up launching a division of a large financial services corporation here in Baltimore. Spent some time in mergers and acquisitions, did a technology startup as part of my capstone project for my MBA, which got me invited to become the founding executive director of the entrepreneurship program at the University of Baltimore. And that's where I sort of first got exposed to the notion of social entrepreneurship, which has become really the driving force in my work and in my life ever since. After 5 years building that program, I stepped away to launch a nonprofit healthcare cooperative that we built for a few years. And then I took a job at Stevenson University in their business school. And a little bit over a year ago, I was invited to come to University of Maryland, Baltimore, which for those of you that don't know which is which, we're the one down by the hospital, and help launch a new program that is a Master's of Science in Health and Social Innovation, taught in an independent graduate school at UMB. So that's how I spend my time now, working with students that are trying to figure out unique ways to change the world, which is a really exciting place to be.
That's excellent. I love just in that latter half of your experiences, the bopping around of Collegetown institutions. You're all over the network. It's fantastic. That kind of leads me nicely to our next question. That is basically, why Baltimore? Why social entrepreneurship in this region?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of practical reasons, one of which is it's my home. But I really do think, and I married a Baltimore girl, so that kind of makes a difference.
Oh, yeah, you're bound.
But a number of years ago, I came to the conclusion that if you were going to find a place to build a cohort of social entrepreneurs and build an ecosystem around social entrepreneurship, you really couldn't invent a better place than what Baltimore actually has. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is that we have a higher concentration of smart people than most other regions. If you look at the sort of demographics of greater Baltimore, there's more people with advanced degrees in our area than there are in a lot of parts of the country. It is a town that is very networked, but it's an accessible network and it's a relational network. So unlike cities like New York, where you have a network, but you might meet somebody and never see them again, Baltimore, you stay in touch with people over time. So there's a connectivity there, but the network is also big enough that you can build things and do things. So it's a really nice sort of right-sized network. We have a larger than average percentage of folks already doing work in social change. So if you look at the GDP of the Baltimore region, we have nonprofits and social innovation organizations make up about 12% of the GDP in greater Baltimore. In most cities, that's 7 to 8%. So there's a higher concentration there. We have significant wealth in this town. A lot of really, really significant assets in the area. There are people with money that you can access, foundations, that sort of thing. And then last, but certainly not least, we have no shortage of significant social problems to try to tackle. So you combine all those things together, and I think it really is just for lack of a better term, a perfect storm of areas and contexts that you can build on. So organizations like ours, organizations like Impact Hub and Innovation Works and others that are in this space are really driving some really great things. So we're happy and proud to be part of it.
I love that breakdown and how you frame all of the different aspects of Baltimore. And from my experience personally, as well as working with Collegetown, I love how accessible that community is to college students, be it through volunteer opportunities or internships or, postgraduate entry-level work right from the jump. It's a great place to launch a career and launch a life.
Yeah, absolutely.
My second question, in kind of thinking of this perfect storm with this new hurricane front that is COVID-19, how have you and the industry at large reacted to the ramifications of what's going on right now in this scary, unprecedented time?
I think, one of the interesting things is, there's a lot of speculation about what the world's going to look like when this is over or when we come out the other side of this, and, new normal and return to normal and all these kind of phrases that get floated around. I think it's anybody that can say that they know what the world is going to look like, I think really, quite frankly, is just guessing at a lot of things. But I think there's a couple of things that we can be relatively certain of. One is that we're going to need each other more. I think we're going to become much more dependent on each other. So things like collectives and collaboratives and cooperative organizations are going to become more and more important. I think that, the economics of this current situation are such that, work is going to be harder to find, investment capital is going to be harder to find, government support is going to be harder to find, philanthropic support is going to be harder to find. So people that can figure out how to develop effective organizations that can improve the human condition, but also save cost to society over time, I think are going to become much more important. I believe they've been important all along, but I think that's going to become a much more generally accepted view over time. So, I'm proud to be part of the group of folks that are helping to get people to understand and think that way. And I think it's going to become critically important as we try to rebuild a society that hopefully is more equitable, more just, more compassionate than the one that we've left behind before all this started. Absolutely.
I agree with especially the notion of nobody knows, right? Like all of these post-COVID discussions are kind of guesswork at this point. But I think that an emphasis on collaboration and compassion are definitely some silver linings that we can take away from this traumatic experience. And I think moving forward, Baltimore is well positioned to break down some silos moving from here on out.
Yeah, I agree completely. And as I said, we're just happy to be able to make a small contribution to moving that forward.
Well, I thank you so much for A, those contributions, and B, just carving out the time in your, Wednesday morning to chat with me. All the days are kind of a blur now, but I really appreciate your time. And I know shifting everything that you do to the digital space takes focus and attention. So I appreciate chatting with you today.
My pleasure. We're happy to do it. We're happy to be part of Collegetown and the good work that you guys do. And we look forward to continue to collaborate with you as things move forward.
Well, thanks so much, Jim. Stay home, stay happy, stay healthy. And I will talk to you soon.
Amen. Wash your hands, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.